Hi everyone, I'm Lynn from Finds of Yesterday, and I sell on eBay, but I also sell on a couple other platforms as well. But I sell vintage items and jewelry, and today we're talking flower brooches. I had done a previous video on butterflies and leaves, but this time I'm doing flower brooches. I bought so much jewelry at this one place in a big lot that I had to divide it up into 3 videos, and this time it's flower brooches, and they are all vintage. So let's turn the camera around and just jump right in. All right, let's get started with about 30 different flower brooches. There's some really pretty ones in here, and I'm excited to show you these. And let's just jump right in. Let's get started. This first one is this beautiful rhinestone flower with green. It's just pretty. It's got some big rhinestones that form the flowers, like 3 of them with the smaller rhinestone in the center in pink, blue, and then a green leaf with a little gold swirl. Very nice piece. None of these are going to be signed because I pulled all the signed ones out and did a video on them. But this one's not going to be signed, most likely, unless I missed something. This one I absolutely adore. It's like jade. I haven't tested these to see if they're jade, but they look like it to me. Or jadeite. Pretty gold tone leaves. Fancy cutouts on these leaves. Almost like wired, almost like filigree. Really pretty. Then we have a Salzburg. This is more like a pin with a little painted flower. Here's the back side. It's kind of silver tone. I'm wondering if this was just a souvenir piece that somebody picked up along the way. This one's kind of the same. It's like hand painted, or it does look like enamel. Almost, oh, I hate to say it, but almost a poorly enameled painted job. Unless it was hand painted. It just looks a little different than enamel. It's got the real pretty blue rhinestones on the bird though. That really brightens it up. Then we have this really pretty pink rhinestone flower brooch with a green marquee style or navette rhinestone. Almost looks like marcasite as well. And there's the back side. Then we have this tulip. I've seen these several times. They're just so pretty. It's an enamel painted brooch. There's the back side. Very pretty. A lot of detail in that flower. A lot of petals. Here's a really pretty. This one looks a little newer to me. Pink marquee stones with a blue bow. When I say newer, they're still vintage, but maybe from the 80s or 90s, 70s to 90s, somewhere in that range. Ooh, love, love, love this one. That one is just done so gorgeously. Is that a word? Gorgeously? The white enamel is just done so well with the gold center. Here's the back side. Well, this one is signed. It's a Monet. That one I must have missed. Probably because I have my finger on it like that. But yeah, that's why it's so nice. It's a Monet. Then we have another leaf brooch filled with rhinestones. Gorgeous. The pearl looks like it's in really good shape. It's not a real pearl, but it doesn't look like it has much scratches or anything on it. It's got a newer clip. See how this clip is? It's either really old or a lot newer. And in this case, it's newer. Look how shiny this piece is. If it was old and it had this type of a clip, it's going to be probably from the 20s, the 10s or the 20s, and it would be not this in this shiny of condition, most likely. Here's like a stamped aluminum type brooch. It's really interesting. They really did a lot of detail work in the flowers. I almost wonder if it's handmade. It's got a little pearl for the center. Is it a lily? And back you can see needs to be shined up for sure. It's got a little pin on it. Let's see how it has depth. Well, we have another little daisy flower, white daisy, enamel. Here's the back side. You can see this is probably from the 1950s because of the little rivets in the middle of each of the flowers. That's a 1950s thing. Let's see the depth. It's like pieced together or riveted together. And the pin goes a little bit past the end. Nowadays they don't go past the end, so that's a sign that it's older. This is pretty with the little turquoise stones. I'm sure they're probably howlite or some other type of stone. They're probably not real turquoise. Very nice. And I have another one that kind of matches. You could almost wear these together. One's got a little more detail to it. They're obviously from two different makers because of the backs, you can tell. They're totally different. But the fronts look similar. We have this interesting, it's almost like a porcelain rose, but it's not heavy like porcelain, so it must be more like a plastic molded material. It's got an older clasp on it. But I'm trying to figure out what date I would put on this. Probably the 70s. See how much depth it has? This one's pretty. I feel like I've seen this one before, like in the home parties. But I'm not seeing a name. It's really a pretty coral color enamel with lots of clear rhinestones. Very pretty. I would say this one would sell for $18, $15 to $18. Most of these are going to be in the $15 to $18 range so far. This one looks Art Deco to me. I love it, but you might be fooled. It might be a reproduction. Look at that red stone. Love it. I love Art Deco, the Art Deco period and the Art Nouveau period. They're two totally different periods. One's flowing lines, which is the Art Nouveau, and one's more straight lines and geometric shapes. But I love them both. It's a big rhinestone in the center. No name on the back. The pin is newer. It does stick out a little bit past the end. So it's probably a reproduction of the Art Deco period, and it has marcasite, all the little design you see on there. I think they call that marcasite. Little specks that look like diamonds or rhinestones, but they're not. There's a pretty four-leaf clover flower. That's pretty. Rhinestones again, clear rhinestones. We all love bling. And then they put a gold clasp on the back. I feel like this clasp was probably done at a later time, like they redid it. Very nice. I think it's missing a rhinestone right here on the tip. Unfortunately, that means I won't list it. I'll put it in my pile of ones that are missing stones and see if I ever get to it. Or I'll end up selling them all as a group, or I'll save them and use them in other brooches. I'm not sure yet. Right now they're accumulating. So this is an interesting lily. It's enamel. It's really got a lot of design to it. A lot of folded petals. There's the back with the pin. All C clasps. Look at the design to that. It's just like a lot of detail, a lot of bending and shaping in this one. It's kind of a teal enamel. It's pretty. Ooh, that's a statement piece if you put that on your lapel of your jacket. Pretty blue stone in the center, filled with rhinestones around it. There's the back side. That's a 1950s. As you can see, all the little square pieces that were either soldered together. And there's another, the V shape under the pin that's holding the pin on. That is either riveted or soldered on. Most of the time you see it riveted. This looks a little different, but it's still probably 1950s. I'll probably put $16 on that one and hope to get 15. A lot of brooches I feel are worth a lot more, but I end up putting 25 in the 20s and usually end up going down to 18 unless it's signed. Then they sell faster. This is definitely a pretty piece. Of course, some rhinestones are huge. And they're really, really sparkly. I hope that you can see that in the camera. And each one's got a little AB rhinestone in the center of it. And they just glisten with color. Pretty. Silver tone. It's kind of like a wreath almost, or like a swag. Beautiful piece. That would definitely make a statement on your outfit. This one I adore. I'm trying to put a date on this one. I'm thinking I'm terrible with the older ones. Looking at the back makes me think it's newer. But when you look at the front, I feel like it's from the 1920s. Because of the way the rhinestones are all set in here. And especially with this watch front. I can get closer. It says Imperial on the watch front with this pink stone over top of it. It's a gorgeous piece. And I'm afraid it's missing some rhinestones right down here. And they're so tiny, they're so hard to work with, to replace. I might just list it and say missing rhinestone because somebody's going to love that piece. And this pearl has a little pink haze to it. I'll probably list this at $22.99 and hope to get 20 out of it. Maybe $24.99 and get 20 out of it. This next piece is almost like a collage of pieces. This is a fabric flower, like somebody replaced the flower with one of these little ribbon flowers. And it's kind of fall-like. It's got the fall tones on the leaves with some little pearls. Look at the dainty little pearls in the middle. It's really cute. But I do feel like somebody fixed it up. They lost a flower, a metal flower, and replaced it with this pink, which I do like the pink on it. I just don't like that it's the ribbon fabric flower. This one, I'm having a hard time thinking that I will even list it just because of that. Or maybe put $10 on it, but it's a shame because it would have been worth more without that ribbon flower. This is another gorgeous piece. It's an enamel white flower. Nice back on it, smooth, no name. It's got a rhinestone, a pearl, other little pearls. It's got a lot of good things going for it. Except it's got a little piece of enamel missing in a couple little spots. But I'll still list this. Probably list it at $16.99 and try to get 15 out of it. This one, we see a lot of these in the 1950s. And if you look at the back, you can see it's got that V pin holder on it again with the rivet in the middle. It's a good sign. It's from the 50s. Nice piece. Thin. It's made with thin metal shaped. Beautiful AB rhinestone in the center. Nice piece. This one is actually kind of it almost looked like white gold, but it's more silver the more I look at it. Hold it up against black. Kind of has a gold tinge to it, but it's not. It's more silver. If you look at it on the white, it's like a smoky silver. It's got a lot of good detail to it. It's interesting, the combination of the textured leaf and the smooth flower. That gives it some character. I like that piece. Well, you might not be able to see this one. It is a black rose with a textured leaf. Looks like from the 50s. Nice little piece. This I might be able to sell for $10. We have, these are like a porcelain ceramic. I think they're porcelain. 3 pretty white. They're almost like a opal looking rhinestone in the center with some textured gold leaves. Here's what the back looks like. They let this open so that it lets some of the light come through the flowers. Nice piece. Nice long pin on it. Beautiful. We're getting down to the end. I've got 2 left. We have this gold big leaf with just a stem. Very simple, but elegant, and it's definitely a statement piece. Look at, they even put texture to the stem to make it look like a rose type stem with, like, they cut off thorns or almost like a branch. Nice piece. Look at the depth it has. And the pin goes past the end. So that tells me it's probably before the 1950s, maybe the 40s. Another nice piece. I'll probably put 20 on that one. And this is the last piece. This looks like a 1928 pin, which is the brand 1928. It looks just like one. I'm almost positive it is, but it is not marked that, which I don't know if they mark all theirs. Just a little porcelain rose in the middle with some pearls around it. So that is it. Let me show you a glimpse of everything. Pretty, pretty, pretty. That's the flower brooches that I got in with a big, large lot. And I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And we're going to have one more after this on the rest of the brooches that were in this box. Thanks again for joining me. See you on the next one.